I've got Cubase 6 just released and also Cubase 5 running on the same machine simultaneously. I'm amazed that actually I can do this and it works absolutely fine. So that's well done to the Steinberg guys for doing that. So yeah, let's take a look at the interface differences. I'm not going to be going into any of the other features at the moment. So you can see here that we've got a project. I'll just play it for you. If you've seen my other videos, you might have seen this project before. The selection of elements going on here, the majority of the music parts are instrument tracks, running Halion 1, and also got a Mystic instance running, and just one audio loop, which is a congas. And this is with Cubase 6, so you can see that we've got a rather refined visual interface. There is a default setting on this, and that's what I'm running with. I've customized the meters. That's the only thing that is different. Now, with the MIDI data, when you're running your cursor over these actual MIDI parts, it's actually quite hard with the default settings to see what's going on, and this is one of the key differences. I'm going to show you the setting that you need to make it clearer to see that MIDI data if that's what you want to do. And if you're used to Cubase 5, as you can see here, it's very clear to see the MIDI data contained within the parts, so you may want to make that change. And now coming back to 5, you would have noticed some quite significant differences, particularly with regards to the faders. They're smooth and round here, whereas if we switch back to Cubase 6, we've got this more sharp version, which really reminds me of the old Nuendo mixer. I haven't seen the Nuendo mixer in recent times, but you know, a good few years back, this looks very similar in fact to Nuendo. It feels a little bit more grown up, a bit more serious and professional, so that's good. So you can see here the MIDI representation is different. If we scroll down, the congas here, this is the audio, and if you have a look here, it's much more subtle. You can see clearly the waveform behind, so there's certainly no issues there on a visual tip. But you know, for me personally, I would prefer to have my MIDI data stronger behind the part. So let me show you what you can do to do that if you're going to be running with Cubase 6. We go to the preferences, and over here in the event display section under MIDI, we've got here note brightness. I'm going to bring this right down, and I'm going to click on apply. And can you see now we've got the MIDI note data visible? For me, when I'm doing stuff like arranging, I want to be able to see things like this crash symbol there and any elements inside. For me, that helps when I'm actually dragging and dropping and making copies. I like the way that this cursor runs and selects stuff. I think that's really quite smooth. We don't get that on the previous Cubase here. And you know, it feels like there's a real kind of refinement. It definitely feels like it's prettier, there's no doubt about it. The one thing that I'm feeling at the moment that I'm missing, if we come back to Cubase 5, can you see down here we've got the ability to select the color on the mixer. Now if you come and see Cubase 6, we don't have that available. So for me, I would like to be able to do that, to actually apply the color onto the tracks on the mixer, because it's going to help with actually arranging stuff in a visual sense. You can still do this, of course. You know, you can select the track and come up and drop down and choose a color from here. So that's just like an extra sort of set of movements to do that. So you know, definitely on the Cubase 5, I think that's something that would have been nice to have brought through to 6. Who knows, the guys might actually make that adjustment. The other thing you'll notice also is the colored backgrounds for the different track types. So where we've got the actual effects returns and groups, we've got a different track in the actual mix, a different type of color. So that helps to create a sort of visual distinction. So you're going to have to make that yourselves manually by clicking on these and then changing the color up the top. So aside from that, you know, there are some other differences, some other key differences inside Cubase 6. And if I get some time, I'm going to actually show you some of those. But, you know, this is just a quick video just to show you the visual look and feel. I mean, you know, you can see here the arranger track is very different. I'm not actually using the arranger track in a conventional sense. I'm just doing it just to add a visual indicator of where my different sections are. So I'm not actually arranging with the arranger track, but I just like to do that just visually so that I can see things clearly. So just once again, coming back, Cubase 5, let me play from here. And then switching back, and like I said, you know, it's pretty amazing that the two can run simultaneously. Actually, just another thing I'm noticing here, yeah, if you have a look at the meters, you see we've got this kind of lined version of the meter, and then looking over here, there are no horizontal lines. It's actually a lot smoother. I actually prefer that look. That's looking really nice and clean. Just going to see if that extends to the faders down here as well. Yeah. So you can see the level on the fader has got that same approach with these horizontal scan line kind of effects. Much smoother over here. For me, that's a good step. I prefer that. So yeah, just a little tour there, and as I said, if I have any more time spare, I'll see if I can get some videos done, but I've definitely got my hands full at the moment with doing some updates for the Point Blank online Cubase course, bringing in the Cubase 6 content where we need to.